Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Netherwar, Stay of Execution. Thank you for joining us for your weekly dose of superhero shenanigans. My name is Alex, and once again, I will continue to be your humble game master for this series. If I say it every week, it must be true. Tonight, we are playing Mutants and Masterminds, the world's greatest superhero RPG, which is produced by Green Ronin Publishing. It is a D20 system that allows players to create their own unique or iconic superheroes with enough crunch in the rules for folks who are into that sort of thing. It also features hero points, which are a special resource that players can use to empower their heroes when the going gets tough. Heroes can take additional actions, increase their speed or strength for a turn, edit the scene for when they desperately need a chandelier to dramatically swing from, and allows heroes to use their abilities in creative ways. They're earned through good role-playing, vivid descriptions, jokes I think are funny, jokes I think aren't funny, and from you, the audience. If you follow, subscribe, or donate bits during the stream, you earn a hero point that you can give to the hero or me of your choice. It is Jonesy's birthday, so happy birthday, Jonesy. Thank you for spending some time with us during your special week.
Aww.
We've gathered some opalescent heroes tonight. Say bonjour, heroes.
Bonjour,
Heroes.
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 I want to give everyone a chance to tell us a little bit about themselves, the character they will be playing, where else we can find them, and have them answer my question of the day, which is, what is one of your character's holiday traditions? And I'm going to start with Kat. Kat, this can be from the before times when Brutus was still alive.
I mean, it has to be. She hasn't gone through a holiday yet. Okay, hi, I'm Kat. I am playing Centuria. I don't know. I'm not usually first, so now I'm stressed out.
Now you know Kevin's pain.
Yes.
Yeah. So I guess I'll answer the question. What I thought when I first saw this question is she used to spend like the holiday with Dave and their dog Brutus, and they would just sort of walk through Freedom City and just like look at all the lights together. And just take it slow since they're always speeding around, saving things. So they would just sort of like mosey through the town and look at all the Christmas lights. And then that made me sad. So, yay. Also, thank you, Calvin, for making these backgrounds. I think I'm doing the right side. Yes.
There you go. Yep.
Haha! First try. And yeah, so who should I pass it to? Do I get to choose?
You get to choose.
Jonesy!
Course. Hi everybody, I am Jonesy. I am normally playing Mortis, but because of body swapping shenanigans and mystic mayhem, I am currently stuck in an alternate universe version of Centuria. So the currently running around 2 Centurias, and I'm one of them. But I still have all the memories of Mortis, so yay. And he's normally our resident necromancer, so that's interesting. You can find me on Twitter and all that fun stuff. But this is the only stream I'm currently on. I also do a lot of the back end stuff, like the cool graphics and stuff for our overlays. As far as holiday traditions, Mortis doesn't have a whole lot. Growing up, his stepfather ran an ultra conservative, let's be honest, cult. it was a compound over in Fariburg. So yeah, most of that he ditched as soon as he got out on his own. But the last couple of years, him and his fiance, who's a ghost, have been going to like various holiday Dickens festivals, like Charles Dickens festivals, and watching like live performance of A Christmas Carol and stuff. And then they also volunteer at the LGBT youth center, just spending some time with the kids, especially the ones that are out on their own, that don't have homes to go to for themselves. So.
I have to ask, does Nick want to play the Ghost of Christmas past, present, or future?
No, but he always
depend at the play.
But he always nudges him whenever he comes on with the chains dragon. He always gives him Morris a hard time about it. So, and I will pass it over to Kevin.
Okay. I am playing Overdrive. I'm usually found here. online because the multiverse is a big place and I have so many places to be. Overdrives. I would imagine someone who's speeding around all the time might particularly enjoy it if there's a snowy Christmas Eve to not be speeding around and just sort of take in the slowness. Yeah, that sounds appropriate. Over to you, Andy.
Hey, I'm Andy. I am here on Monday nights for our Netherwar stuff. You can also find me over on our YouTube channel where I host the I can't even remember now. Storyforge
Just something.
series. Yeah. My Storyforge series where I talk GM advice, character creation for a bunch of different systems, that kind of stuff. So you can also find me over on our website where I make some blog posts, which I haven't done for a while. I need to get back into that. We're also end of the year times are fun. Tonight I am playing Resonant, our Resonant Gem Mage, and her Christmas tradition has probably been going on for the last couple of years, but it's the day before Christmas Eve. She will specifically close her shop and get a bunch of kids over and basically have a Christmas reading where she'll go through a different book each year, and then every kid that comes gets a copy of whatever book they want from her store. So I will pass it over to Calvin.
Okay. Well, hey everybody, I'm Calvin. Tonight I'll be playing Bowman, the awesome archer with an incredible array of arrows. Normally I'm here on Mondays and sometimes here for one shots, but I'm also over on the Win with Dice channel over on YouTube, where we have weekly gaming podcasts and weekly gaming streams where I flounder through some massive RPGs and gush about how pretty they are. As for the question of the day, holiday traditions, I was trying to think of some like specific thing that he might do, but honestly, I just keep picturing like him spending time with family and he and his dad, and every year one of them provokes the other into an archery competition and they pretend it's not on purpose, but it's completely on purpose every time. As to who wins those, I don't know. I'll leave that up to the imagination. And pass it back up to Alex.
Awesome. Some things never change. As for what do my characters do as a holiday tradition?
Yeah,
What does Arctic Fox? What does Arctic Fox do?
The Arctic Fox sends presents to his son in Emerald City, but his son throws them away without giving them to the family.
Sad, but okay.
And then he spends the evening by himself, wishing that his family would let him come home for Christmas.
Well,
Sadder, but okay.
it's kind of deserved.
I don't
Is
think
it?
it's deserved.
I think he's a good guy.
Well, you are very biased.
Midge.
True.
Awesome. So, yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Last time on Netherwar, last week on Netherwar, the basement flooded and the internet wouldn't work. So that's where we were last week. This week, last time on Netherwar. Sorry, I'm all confused.
Oh my god.
How do
You
words
alright?
work? I don't know. I'm okay. How are you? Our heroes dealt with the aftermath of the assault in the Gibbering Caverns, and they took the Resistance somewhere safe, and they set up a Resistance base to keep Berea safe while she recovered from whatever was going on with her, and while the heroes decided how they wanted to progress while stuck in this time loop in the past. Eventually, after helping the Resistance get organized and having a number of excellent little role-playing scenes together, including one where Bowman got to see Seven again for the first time in a decade, in a pure, unadulterated, I'm sure not a trap way. It was great. Our heroes then went into the center of Lafandi at Lake Ontavia at the behest of Rar, where they found a collection of crystalloids who said that the heart of Lafandi was not well. Then they went down into the center and they punched the planet in the face. It was great. Morturia one-shot the monster. I'm pretty sure, if memory serves correctly.
Go Jonesy!
And then they time traveled back into the present, where Centuria was taken in a glowing Omega Ankh symbol. Which is where we rejoin Centuria. Centuria, you were pulled across dimensions and into the terminus, a feeling that is immediately terrifying to you after everything that took place in your own dimension. You sort of feel the crushing weight of pessimism and apathy and all of the negative feelings of the universe pressing down on you as you appear in a massive black stone throne room interlaced with red fire, lava, and Omega brands littered throughout the architecture. At the far end of the room, there is a massive throne upon which sits Omega. In his black armor with his glowing yellow skull, looking down at you with feels like contempt.
I'm sensing contempt.
Centuria will sort of like stand up shakily, panicking, like, oh god, not again. But then she'll sort of like march towards the throne and like spit in its direction and say, what do you want?
And he doesn't move when you spit on the floor in front of him. Both arms firmly on the armrest of the throne. And he says, your presence here means only one thing. Tarvon has perished. Finally, under the weight of my torturers. And the mantle of Master Mage of the Terminus somehow has passed to you. How have you done this?
I've literally done nothing. I've just been trying to live, which wasn't easy, thanks to you.
Not me. One of my dimensional counterparts. You're not from here.
Oh, well. One of you. And then she'll sort of gesture to the brand on her neck.
Somehow you have hijacked the magic of my dimension. He stands up. Then he marches down the stairs, towering over you.
She'll sort of like stand up as high as she can. But she's not going to back up.
And he doesn't get in your face. He still looms dark side style above you with his arms crossed.
What do you want? You've done enough to me. Please leave me alone.
I have done nothing to you.
I would like to say otherwise.
I want to know what your intentions are with the magic of my dimension.
Honestly, I don't even know how to use it.
You cast a spell a few days ago. Well, a few days and 800 years ago.
Okay.
Give or take.
It wasn't intentional. I couldn't just, spell you right now if I wanted to. So, please put me back and leave me alone.
And he... Give me an insight check, Centuria.
Oof. Do I have my character sheet open? I do. Go me. Maybe. There it is. 22.
You get the sense that he is taking a measure of you as he's looking down at you. And he walks away from you over to the edge of the throne room, where he raises a hand and part of the wall opens up to look out over the terminus, and you see this vast field of iron and fire and sad beings under the lash of overseers and the Omega drones. And he doesn't look back at you, but he looks out over the terminus and he says, the dimension is a reflection of its master mage. I wanted to bring you here to take your measure to see if you were going to be a problem for the terminus.
This suffering is a reflection of the Master Mage?
The previous master mage, yes.
And you want it to stay this way?
This is the only way it can be.
Why?
The whole universe, the whole multiverse, will be pulled into this despair at my hands.
Why are you this way? What made you this way?
I looked upon the face of creation and saw the cruel apathy, the cruel nihilism of everything. None of this matters. Nothing matters.
Well, unfortunately, when you killed everyone that I ever loved, I really discovered what did matter. Please put me back. I make you no promises.
I have taken your measure, Kate Leeds.
Congratulations.
You believe in despair as well. You know there is
How
no
could I?
hope.
How could I not believe in despair when I was alone for 10 years?
I just had to make sure you saw things the way I do. And you do.
Sure.
And
Put
so-
me back.
And he looks back your way and he says, "As you wish." And he raises his hands, and your Omega brand burns a little bit, and you coalesce back around your friends.
She'll sort of collapse onto the ground when she returns.
Kate, what happened?
Zip over and try to help her get up.
Omega of this world, this universe, or whatever, took me and wanted to assess me. I'm apparently the Master Mage now. One of them. I don't even know. So done with this.
Wait. Okay, that maybe explains a couple of things, but the Master Mage of the Terminus?
Yeah. I don't know how I would be the Master Mage of this universe's terminus when I'm not even from here. He showed
don't-
me the despair that's wreaked by the former Master Mage and told me that he thinks that I would keep it that way. Because I, believe in despair and see despair everywhere as well.
But that's not true.
I don't know. I like to think it's not, but I don't know.
Hey, you wouldn't be doing everything you're doing if you believed that nothing was worth saving.
I like to think that. Let's just go. I'm okay.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay.
So where to next?
I not exactly sure where we're at right now. Let me get a lay for the land. Did we pop into the future around Lake Ontavian, or
Yes, you did. On the shores.
okay? Okay, all right.
As you're sort of taking in your surroundings, getting a feel for where you are. Resonant, did you ever come to Lake Ontavia before you left?
Probably not. I probably would have learned about it, but probably would not have actually come here again, like to the lake itself. certain areas are restricted. So I don't even. No, I don't think she would have. I mean, she was 13 when she disappeared from Lafondy in the first place. So I don't think so.
Okay, cool. So you don't really have a sense of if anything has changed since you left, but
Right.
according to Lafondy herself, you have been brought back to the correct time period.
Okay. Well, I think we're still at the lake, which means we're north of Pearl. And supposedly this is the right time. Hey, Dr. Adam, you still in there?
Oh, you're back. We lost connection with you. Are you okay?
It's been weird. I'll tell you about it later.
Well,
How
interdimensional
long was the
travel is
connection
always
lost?
weird.
Yeah, how long were we gone? How long did you lose connection?
Oh, we lost connection for a couple of hours.
Okay. At least it wasn't longer than that.
Are you safe? Where are you?
We're on the shores of Lake Ontavian.
And Dr. Adams' little holographic facsimile will appear up out of your gauntlet, and he'll sort of look around with his little holographic binoculars.
Safariing.
Oh, I see you've made friends with a crystalloid.
No, I got it.
Rar waves
Yeah,
his
this is
little
Rar.
hologram.
Yeah, this is rar.
And Dr. Adam will say something to him in crystalloid.
Because of course the hologram can modulate its effects to do that.
And where you think Rar's eyebrows are, peek up when he hears the hologram make that noise. And he answers in kind. Resonant, you know that Dr. Adam just introduced himself, said hello, hope you're having a nice day. Rar said, you could talk like me. Dr. Adam will say, well, I can tell you where, I can pull up a world map and indicate where you are and where Pearl is and give you some guided directions if you're looking for them. I don't know where
Yeah.
the resistance is currently. Hold up.
Well, brilliance. I'm sure you had some intel on that before you left, right?
Yes, there's a camp. And she'll come over to the world map of Lafondy that Dr. Adam pulls up, and she'll point, and Dr. Adam will pull up a blinking quest marker for you guys.
Okay. Does my uncle know that they're there? Are they in danger?
No, I met up with them after I left your uncle's service.
Okay. So us showing up there with you won't be a surprise to them.
Well, some of you showing up with me will be a surprise. They just sent me to get you, Gemma.
Well, they should be thankful for the help. I know I am.
And Brilliance will kind of look around and say, well, right this way, I guess? Fast guy?
Coming.
Come.
And she'll be like, do you just want me to, yell directions at you over the speed wake, or you want, the map?
You could show me the map and maybe a point occasionally. That would be good.
She gets to ride in the passenger seat. She's got to navigate.
I don't want to be up
I don't think it works quite like that.
No.
Backseat speedster.
And, Overdrive, you're able to get everybody in that direction.
Okay. Everybody hang on.
I guess no issue.
He says that, but there's nothing to hang on to.
Each other.
Hang on to your butts.
Didn't work so well in Jurassic Park, but anyway.
So Overdrive, you race everybody off to the northeast a few hundred kilometers to where Brilliance points out there is a resistance
Oh
camp.
no, we've landed in Europe. They're using kilometers instead of miles.
Ugh.
I've got to convert everything. Sorry.
I don't know how far that is.
I don't know how fast I'm going.
Overdrive's internal odometer or speedometer is in kilometers now.
Must recalibrate.
They run on the other side of the street here.
Oh no, man.
I hate the multiverse. And yeah, you do come racing up away from Lake Ontavia, up over a mountain range and down into this sort of fertile farmland part of LaFondy. As you're racing through, you do see there's a number of farms out and about where people are growing food in conjunction with a number of large crystals. I don't know how to hero in the metric system. Says the twos. And yes, as you come racing up, you do exit the farmland and come into this sort of briefly wooded area where you see a number of Lafondans working on building a palisade out of stone. There is it looks like 10 to 20 people in various states of dress as you're sort of taking everybody in. It looks like there's a group of them who have the rope around these big, massive non-gem stones. The person leading them appears to have close-cut brown hair, piercing blue eyes. You can see the dimples on his lower back as he's pulling the rope forward. He's sort of sweating and covered in these glistening muscles, with a jawline that you can just cut diamonds with. And they work together, and they haul this huge rock into a hole. And they all high-five and look back and spot you guys. If you guys aren't trying to hide.
I know they're expecting me at the very least, so.
And Brilliance will wave and bring you all up to meet the Resistance. And Resonant, the shirtless guy who seems to be in charge, looks at you and says, "Gemma, is that you?"
Oh my god. Ori?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Do you two know each other?
Shut up.
Yeah.
I'm just asking.
And,
Yeah. We went to school together, just like Brilliance and I did.
yeah, he
What do
wipes
you-
his forehead and he pulls you into a sweaty hug.
It's good to see you.
Hi, Gene.
So
What are
can I?
what are you doing here?
Ew.
He says, I was working with your mother, but she was captured, so I'm sort of the de facto person in charge around here."
Oh. What happened?
We were gathering supplies, and the general's men captured her. They ambushed us with a couple of soulless, and she bought us time to escape.
That sounds like something she would do.
Your mom's a hero. I hear it runs in the family.
You've been talking to Brilliance then.
Well, after she switched sides, but before that, there was the propaganda.
What do you mean?
Your uncle told everybody that the Master Mage of LaFondy had abandoned LaFondy and wasn't coming back, and it was time to forgo magic and rely on technology.
Okay.
Jonesy, you can roll romance fiction to see how much.
How much is he into her? I'm just curious. We've got this romance fiction skill. We might as well use it. Right,
May as well use it.
Centuria did roll a 20.
You're better than me, Morturia. You got this.
Oh,
Oh, no.
I failed.
Um,
Womp womp.
well, Centuria, Cat Centuria, it is barely concealed that he does have a torch for Resonant. His deep blue
Centuria's
eyes
just
lit
sort of
up.
like smirking in the background, like, ooh. This guy better not betray us. That's all I'm saying. I'm gonna be mad.
Hey, it's not like, Resonant's been bringing him around and hanging out with him after things. Literally the first time they've met since, 13 plus years ago.
Yeah, she hasn't blown him off for like 3 dates yet.
Right.
Wow.
Was this a date? I don't know if this was a date or not.
In my defense, it was apparently a moot point.
I don't know if you guys are talking about Bowman or Thunderbolt.
Why not both?
See, all of the above.
I'm not gonna lie, I'd forgotten about Thunderbolt.
Oh,
Ouch. Poor Thunderbolt.
Man.
that's even worse.
Wait, which Thunderbolt are we talking about?
The one that
What?
became Bolt, then,
Or
then
no,
went back
Bolt.
into
It was
Thunderbolt.
Bolt, right?
Yep.
Oh my god.
Somewhere Ray's ears are just on fire. Sorry, the spot where his ears used to be are on fire.
If he had ears.
That's so messed up.
I know.
Am I gonna have to give up my Flemiships? Because I don't know.
Mm.
Be hard.
Well, Ori does. Ori says, "I'm sorry, where are my manners?" And he introduces himself to all of you. He says, "I'm Ori
these-
Laurent. Welcome to the Resistance."
Centuria is standing by Mortis just to cause as much confusion as possible.
And these are my friends. What do you mean my uncle was propaganding that I was never coming back? There was a master mage of Lafondi before it passed to me. Why didn't he just continue to prop him up?
Well, Zodrol's powers began to wane when you came into prominence as the master mage. Yeah, he's down to 1 gemstone last I heard. And your uncle propped that up as another example of magic turning its back on the people of Lafandi.
No, that was the planet turning its back on someone who didn't deserve her gift.
Yeah, it's been a mess.
Yeah. Brilliant said Mom's planned to be turned into a soulless.
Yeah, we've been
Okay.
working on trying to come up with some kind of prison break, but they've taken her to Pearl itself, and it's just been... It's not safe, and we haven't had the strength we need, even with... Well, they started calling me the Onyx Knight, if you can believe that.
Did you manage to connect to a gem?
Yeah, a big black stone.
Oh, congratulations. I know that was something you were hoping was going to happen, just hadn't.
Yeah, your mom's been showing me the ropes, and she helped me unlock something in myself that I didn't think was ever going to be.
All right, well, we've got a lot more firepower now, literally. These are my friends, like I said. You guys, I don't want to introduce you unless I have to. You guys are able to do that yourselves, right?
Sure. I'm Bowman. And he'll just, I don't know, put a hand up for a simple handshake.
I hope you said sure in like your regular voice. And then
Sure, I'm Bowman.
No, I do the voice all the time. Whenever the mask is on, I do the voice.
And he'll do that warrior handshake thing where he grabs you by the forearm.
Sweet.
gone.
I'll try to get a sense of... Well, no, I can see he's not wearing a shirt. I can get a sense of how muscly he is already. Never mind.
You're like, I can see perfectly fine.
He looks like a Hemsworth and a half.
That explains why Mortis was bad at his role. He was thinking of something other.
It's like, whoo, Onyx Knight. I'm Centuria. If you allow anything bad to happen to Resonant, it will not end well for you.
I would never let anything bad happen to Gemma.
Hmm.
I've been kicking myself about her being trapped on the other side for a decade. I tried to use my money to find a way back home for her, but nothing ever came of it.
Funny, I've never heard about you. I won't mention that I've only been on this dimension for like 2 months.
You notice when you say that Gemma hasn't talked about him, that does sort of like he's like, oh, cool.
Centuria will smirk and then look at Mortis.
I'll reach out my hand. Hi, I'm Mortis.
Twins?
No.
It's complicated.
It's very complicated.
Well, thank you for coming here to help us either way.
No.
Ames
Yeah.
Overdrive. Just sort of give him a little salute there. You should wash those hands, I think.
Yeah, sorry, we've been working on getting the base ready for battle.
Yeah. Let fill us in. I need to know what we're up against if we're gonna save my mom.
And he'll bring you into the camp. He says we had to erect a stone wall because we were using gems, but the last camp that was proven to be a bad idea. General Acosta's got somebody working for him who can create soulless gems.
That's not good.
Yeah.
Is that what happened before?
I think
Bowman
that's
says,
what,
talking to Gemma.
yeah, I think that's what happened in the caves. But that's supposed to be. She's gonna turn and look at Berea. That was supposed to be lost after you put a stop to it.
Well, there's no telling where he got that information from, but we'll bury it again.
Right.
And Ori kind of looks at Berea. He looks at Gemma and he says, Is that who I think it is?
In the flesh.
Yeah, it's Rar.
Rar waves.
Yes. Love him.
Sorry, Rar waves on this side. I waved the wrong hand.
I know, right?
And Ori's like, "Oh, I should be dressed." And he kind of
Yes, you should.
I don't know what to. And he kind of like sputters a little bit, and he comes over to Berea and says, I mean, everybody's such a big fan of you and your work. And Gemma, how are you not
Ori.
freaking out right now?
It's a very long story, and I don't know that I have time to explain everything right now.
Yeah, sure, okay. Well, everybody come in. Well, I'll fill you in on what we've been looking at. And they'll bring you into the camp. You do see sort of what you saw in the Resistance camp 800 years ago. A lot of people, living rough on the outside. There's a few tents, a few erected structures that the gems have been carefully cultivated out of. You do see there's a couple of almost like pens that they've got the gems stored in, away from everybody else, with small stone walls around them. There's a big fire pit in the middle, and you see the Resistance appears to be made of roughly 50 to 100 people as you're sort of getting a lay of everything. Or he'll take you to the center tent of the camp, and he'll bring you in. He pulls on this black tunic and straps on this necklace with a sort of jagged black stone in the center of it.
I want to get a sense for the magic of that stone, please.
Sure.
Yes.
Your head explodes.
24.
As you're examining the magic of the onyx, it feels very protective. You're getting a very strong defensive aura from it. As the master mage, as you're sort of tapping into it, you do feel you feel like you could probably use this stone to create psychic barriers, using the magic to basically disrupt energy between beings. You're not sure if it works to physically block things, but it does block other magic energy from passing through.
It's funny that all onyx kind of works protectively.
I've got a couple of theories about that, but my degree's in architecture. It's not in gem magic.
Right. Sorry. This is it? This is everyone?
There were more of us, but the last attack and the loss of your mother sort of hit morale. It's not looking good for us. But you're here now, and you're the master mage, so there's nothing we can't do.
Master mages aren't all up. Excuse me. Master mages aren't omnipotent. We're not all powerful. We're still human.
Oh,
I can't do everything. That's why I have to rely on my friends.
But there's two master mages here now, right?
This is a little bit of a weird scenario. I think LaFondi realizes something is at a crossroads.
Berea kind of looks at you and says, well, technically, I guess there's like 6 or 7 master mages here now.
The whole party? Yeah.
Well, then I fully believe that we're on the right track and we're going to be able to stop your uncle.
That's the hope, at least. Okay. We keep getting sidetracked.
Yeah. And he brings you over to the center of the tent where he has there's a table in the middle that's got a sort of rough approximation of the city of Pearl, made out of various natural things like rocks and pine cones and various just things that they've cobbled together to make this model with. And there's like thimbles and things that seem to represent soldiers. And he's got this general map laid out of the execution square, of guard patrols and things like that. He says this is the reconnaissance that we've gathered about what's happening in Pearl right now.
Okay.
Your mother is set to be executed tomorrow, and the general plans on broadcasting it as far as he can throughout LaFondi.
So best bet would be to get to her tonight then, before he has a chance to do that.
Yeah, I would think so.
Okay. Brilliance, is there anything you can tell us to fill in the gaps?
Well, he wouldn't have her anywhere obvious in the city. I haven't seen any of his prison camps. He didn't trust me enough to take me to any of them, even before I defected. And I know he has a means of transporting people in and out of those prisons instantly. So he's probably planning on teleporting her directly into the gallows and executing her at the time of. He does like to give long-winded speeches, though, so he wouldn't do it right away.
I know my uncle, he'll keep her somewhere close by to him, somewhere he can trust the people around him to keep an eye on her.
He, as far as I know, he's been on the warpath. He also has this strange tendency to be places a lot faster than I expect him to be, but teleporting probably helps with that.
How much does he know about? How much did you tell him about your encounter with us on Earth Prime?
Well, I told him you were dangerous and that you would come into your power and that you had 5 or 6 gems that you could tap into.
Not me, my friends. Or did you just tell him about me?
He mostly just wanted to know about you, but I mean, I did tell him that your friend punched me in the face really hard.
She does that.
Fist bumps, Materia.
Yeah.
But
I told him
nothing
that
else.
one of your friends used an ancient weapon made of 2 sticks and string.
It's not that ancient. It's a modern design. I made it myself. Yeah, it's fine.
It's not an ancient weapon.
Trick strings and trick sticks.
He's like, this is the latest technology.
This is the latest in arrow technology. It's got a boxing glove in it.
I paid a lot of money for this.
It's a
I
really
paid a lot of
expensive
my
stick.
dad's money for this.
I'm sensing a pattern here. Somebody likes throwing money at something. But that's, well, if you didn't tell him anything else about my friends, that's a really good thing. And we've got that working to our advantage.
Yeah, Brilliant sort of says, yeah, well, there wasn't a whole lot to tell. I didn't get a lot of experience with your friends before I escaped.
Thankfully, I suppose. Well, she's going to look to the rest of the group. With that in mind, what do you guys think? Do we want to recon the city? Try to see if we can get any more info before we make any kind of move? I don't like throwing anybody into danger when we don't know what's going on.
I would like to see if we could find this prison before we need to find it at the last minute tomorrow. And I'm also curious about this teleportation power, if it's magic, if it's technology, and if it's something we can counter.
Do his minions wear like costumes or anything? Or are they just like in regular clothes?
They wear army uniforms. Black.
Like
tunics.
with masks?
No, they don't wear masks.
Darn.
They do wear helmets, but they don't cover their face.
Big darn. Never mind.
Is it a big army? Something a handful of people can slip into easily?
Yeah, General Acosta has a fairly large army of supporters.
Interesting.
I've seen a battle force the size of 10,000 men. Not all of them are Wafandi, though. Some of them are from elsewhere.
So he's brought in extra dimensional mercenaries?
We knew they were
The
from
dimension.
somewhere. We were assuming it was from a different dimension, but we weren't sure which one.
Resonant's going to look at Berea, and then down at the wrist for Dr. Adam. Is the dimensional barrier around Lafandi that weak?
Dr. Adams says, let me run a scan. And his little hologram flies up into the air, and he looks with his binoculars around.
Well, while he's doing that, infiltrating the prison as guards isn't a bad idea. We just need to know where it's at first.
His executioner does wear a hood. Or he will offer.
I'm thinking that if we can at least have some of us infiltrate the guards that are going to be on duty at the execution. And I don't know if we could get somebody to infiltrate the executioner. That might be harder.
I really don't want to wait till the execution. I'd like to get her tonight if we can.
Yeah, absolutely. Worst case scenario.
Right. Well, worst case scenario, we go and start a ruckus. We're good at that.
Yeah, we're good at ruckus.
We're gonna start a ruckus.
Let's start a riot. Do-do-do-do.
Mm-hmm. So we need to figure out where the prison is. We need to figure out what's around it. How many guards, if my uncle has a way of getting there instantaneously or at least close to it, which it sounds like he does. There's a lot.
Well, we
Res-
better get started.
Yeah.
So maybe focus on the prison first.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Overdrive, are you willing to do a little bit more running around?
Yeah.
Okay. Brilliance, will you give him where you know the prison camps are? Resonant will give you a description of her mom, who to look for, or just to look for like the most heavily guarded section of these prisons. Because it's less likely that she'll be out among the general populace, I would imagine. And when she does, she's gonna kind of, when she's done with that, she's gonna turn around and say, I'm not entirely certain what else to do until we find her. I guess. I don't know. And she's gonna sit down. This is just a lot.
Ori will put a strong hand on your shoulder. It is a lot. But now that you're back, it's something we can do together. If you're up for it, I could use help with organizing the resistance forces in the area. They might be able to help with what's going on.
Yeah, I think that can work. Berea can help with that too.
She says, "Well, I just got done running a resistance, so how hard could it be?"
I doubt it's much different from what you were just doing.
And she'll excuse herself and she'll go start rallying troops, who all freak out when George Washington walks out of the camp. So, Overdrive, you want to go look for camps, from what I
Yes.
understand.
No,
Let
Is
me-
Overdrive running solo on this?
I think just initially.
Yeah, because the more of us that are scouting, the more likely we are to be noticed. This is just a quick first look, if you will.
I'll borrow a smoke
Um,
arrow just in case.
Do they have any kind of recording device that I could take along and bring back intel for them to see?
They don't have a device that does it, but they do have a gem that you can take with you
Okay.
that will absorb the memories of where you've been.
Far enough.
And anybody who is gifted in reading those memories will be able to pull them out in a sort of magical hologram.
Excellent. So I'll look sort of kind of like, okay, so I just hold this thing like this, like put it on my forehead, like just carry it. How does that work?
A couple of the resistance soldiers sort of chuckle at you, and they say, "No, you just have to put it on your chest, and it will read everything you need it to."
Okay, so they don't do selfie sticks here. Okay.
I mean, if you want a stick, you can grab a stick out of the woods.
Take
Sorry.
the gem too.
That's totally out of context. But anyway. All right, so I will head off and schedule. You want like investigation or?
Yeah, give me an investigation check. The planet of the Fondi has a 7,000-mile diameter.
Pish posh. So like 2 rounds? No, I'm just kidding. Oh.
I think your top speed's 64,000 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So it'll probably take you an hour to check the whole planet's surface.
Yeah. It's distressing, isn't it?
The good thing is he should have focused areas to look based on brilliance is information that she could provide to him.
Yes.
Yes. My investigation roll for whenever I get back is a 27.
Awesome. So with the 27 overdrive, you do find a number of prison camps around the world that General Acosta has been using. They do seem to be very spread out. It looks like you got a 27 on your investigation check, so you actually notice that they are spread out equidistant from each other in a 5-pointed star.
Oh, I was just gonna say, does that sound like a magical kind of thing? Like,
It seems like
yeah,
it. And Pearl is in the center of that star.
great. That always goes well.
Yeah, you notice that each of them is manned by a large force of soldiers, a couple of crystalloids that have been seemingly yoked with these black devices that have Omega brands on them.
So I don't, again, not really understand it. Like, just kind of try and, angle myself as I'm passing by all this stuff in the hopes that the crystal is recording it all. So it's not just my hearsay, but like someone back at HQ is gonna be able to read that and maybe project it for others.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, we're basically running by with a GoPro that the gym agents can use to read.
Excellent.
They can review the footage. But yeah, each of the camps does look like it has a guard accompaniment of 1,000 to 2,000 soldiers. It looks like they hold between 100 and 300 prisoners. Some of them have more prisoners than others. It looks like most of them are for priority prisoners of war. There are a couple that have larger prison populations. The largest of which is in the southwest corner of the planet, which has a prisoner to guard ratio of about 20 to 1. And it looks like that's where the general prison population is being funneled into. So 20 to 30,000 Lafondians being watched over by 2,000 soldiers.
Just try to make note of the heavier concentration of prisoners and guards.
Mm-hmm.
See if, again,
Yeah,
just relay as much tactics as I can back to the camp once I finish.
Yeah, it looks like the least populated prison is in the northwest corner of the star. Or, sorry, the northernmost corner of the star. And it looks like that has a guard contingent of about 600, and it looks like they may have 10 to 20 prisoners there.
I don't recognize any of the, like, it just seems odd to be a very small population there.
Give me a perception check.
So, perception. That is an 18 for perception. That is not great. But it's me, so that seems perfectly apropos.
You don't recognize any prisoners per se. There is one that looks like they could be related to Resonant, but it's hard to tell.
But it's all on his gem bro, so.
Yep.
Yes. All right. So after getting a detailed scan, I will bring the gem back for whatever planning session we need to have.
Awesome. What's everybody else doing during that hour?
Well, we kind of want to know a bit more about the execution space itself. Just in case it came to that, wanted to know like any entry and exit routes beforehand.
Awesome. Andy, here's a question I probably should have asked you. Do they have transportation devices in Lafandi? Like airplanes or cars or...
No, I would imagine if most Lafondians get around by walking wherever they need to go, or if they absolutely need to go somewhere quickly, it would probably be, there are probably transporters like mages who have the ability to levitate, to move people from place to place, or teleport people from teleport things and goods and people from place to place. no technology such as like cars and anything along and cars and planes and stuff like that. So
Awesome. So I will say the Resistance has somebody who can teleport Bowman in and out of Pearl if he so desires.
That sounds super risky. Let's do it.
Bowman, first I want you to give me a stealth check. And are you going in costume, or are you going to borrow some local clothes?
I will go in costume because my costume adds bonuses to my stealth.
Oh, okay.
Well,
let me switch to night mode. Click, click. I can be the
at
I can
KB
be
Toys.
I can be the Onyx Knight too.
Yeah, holiday night, whatever, man. He's so cool with his stupid shirtless body. Stupid sexy Ori.
Jeez.
Going on.
Bowman, you do notice the dimples on his cheeks are almost as deep as the dimples on his lower back.
What kind of show is this anyway? Like, what is going on?
That was a terrible roll. I am going to not accept that. I'm just gonna drop my hero point on there.
Give it to me.
And try again.
That's a better
There we
roll.
go. 28.
Awesome. So Bowman, you are able to get around the city without attracting too much attention to yourself as you're sneaking around.
It's unlike any city Bowman's actually ever been in. It's very open. Kind of think of it like an ancient Roman city almost in the guise of like there's a lot of open space, there's a lot of meeting areas that are like under columns and just nothing's enclosed in glass and steel like it is in Freedom City. Everything's a lot more open. It seems to be very well built in with the landscape in mind. Everything seems to be at least as much as Resonant remembers, it's in tune or built with the natural landscape in mind. Now, if any of that's changed, that's up to the GM.
No, that's true. Although Bowman, you do recognize the sort of vibe of this place as being similar to lore locations that you've been in before. LOR in space, when you've been to space. Sort of that open forum idea where people are walking around giving lectures or just making speeches on the corners, lots of big open public spaces.
So yeah, normally he'd be like using the grapple arrow just to like move through rooftops where available. But now he's more like moving through the streets and having to dart through these open areas, sticking to the shadows where he possibly can. Otherwise, waiting for moments where no one is around and briefly being out in the open. Might need to occasionally drop a smoke arrow here and there. But other than that, he's moving as quickly as he can to see if he can just get a sense of like the size of this building, how to get in, and options on how to get out.
Awesome. Also, I forgot to mention it, but Jonesy, you get an extra hero point for your birthday.
Aw, thank you.
I've added it to
Birthday
your
episode.
But yeah, Bowman, as you're making your way around, you're keeping an eye on entrances and exits. You do come to the area of town that looks like it's been cleared to become a gallows. They've got a big structure that they've built out of steel that is definitely not from around here. Looks like a viewing platform with a staircase that goes up on either side. There is a sort of recessed area on top of the platform that looks like that's where the prisoner goes for the execution. And you see there are a number of these soldiers patrolling the area wearing these black tunics with a sort of stylized red A emblem on the center of their breast. And they are definitely armed with laser weapons of some kind.
Which certainly don't fit what I'm seeing.
Mm-mm.
As far as do they look similar to the steel that the thing is constructed of?
It does. Go ahead and give me an Do you have a relevant expertise that you can use for this?
I was hoping to use technology. I don't
Technology
know if
would
streetwise applies here.
No, technology would work.
Okie doke, 20 total.
Without getting too close, it looks like this also is Omega Tech.
Okay, so still like a open-ish area, but just with a gallows in the center.
Yeah, there's a couple of buildings around that all look new. Not built of steel, but they are built of cobblestone, and they have shingled roofs. Very similar to a modern, like what you would see in a European city back in your dimension.
Okay.
No buildings higher than 2 stories, though. I'll show you the
Okay.
map.
Oh, there we go.
For our purposes,
Nice.
ignore all of the C's in the middle. They're not there, but the guards are walking around.
I've seen this map before.
I think I used this
Yep.
map in Strahd.
Yes,
Yep.
yes, it's Kevin and Jonesy have seen this map before too.
Yep.
I was trying to block it out.
Yeah.
Vicious mockery. Vicious mockery.
Yeah, this was a bad
Bad fight.
scene.
Mhm.
Oh my god.
On the
Mhm.
west over here, this part that's stretching over between the 2 roofs, is there like an open space beneath that?
There is. There's a archway that goes underneath it. Looks like it's large enough for a cart to be taken through, maybe.
Okay. Just trying to think of possible escapade routes.
Of course, Matthias was an aging fighter and not a speedster in his prime.
Oh, Matthias. We need to bring Heroes of the Mist back at some point next year.
Okay. Well, yeah. Bowman is just gonna take everything in. I have a camera on my tracer arrow, so I'll use that to record the space
Awesome.
and hope I can play it somehow. I don't know. I've only brought my TV arrow.
My TV.
I was like, your VCR arrow.
You gotta stick the arrow in the tape to the cassette to rewind.
Mhm.
Oh
Bowman
no,
has
it's
a
on
laser
channel
disc
3.
arrow.
You're using the channel 3 arrow. Where's the channel 4 arrow?
Don't forget to rewind it, or there'll be an extra fee.
Oh, rewind. You're too young to remember that. Be quiet.
We had a VCR, Kevin.
Oh, you did not. I don't believe it for a
I
second.
watched Pocahontas and all that shit on it.
We still have a VCR. It's a
I do.
I don't
VCR
think we
DVD
do.
hybrid,
Ooh, fancy.
right?
Mm.
Kind of rewind.
So, yeah, Bowman, that's the information that you're able to get as you're sort of making your way through. You do have a stone in your hand that you can use to call for a recall spell whenever you're ready to leave town.
Yeah, no, there's nothing else I can really do, I don't think. No, I just wanted to figure out like quick ways out when we get there and some sort of strategy.
Awesome.
I wish I had a timed explosive arrow. I should have made that ages ago, but I don't. So I'm just gonna get out of here.
Triggered by detonator.
Surprised you don't
Yeah.
have that.
That'll be the next thing I do, along with the bug computer.
All these points go into Jason.
Literally.
And he's not
See,
even
Jason.
here.
Jason arrow.
Oh no.
Someone's sidekick.
You see,
That's
on
hilarious.
Destiny, we made a collective sidekick, so we all put 2 points into him instead of all the points that Calvin put in.
I mean, to be fair, he is my sidekick.
Tommy was supposed to be my sidekick, but now he's everybody's sidekick.
So what you mean is he's everyone's gopher.
Yes,
Did they Rick Jones MD you?
they did. They took him away from me. What are the 2 Centurias up to during this period of time?
Centuria wants to. Is Resonant with Ori?
I imagine she's kind of wandering around the camp trying to be by herself-ish. I'm assuming Ori is following her around like a lost puppy dog. to some degree.
Okay. If that's happening, then Centuria is also coming because Centuria is not leaving Resonant alone with Ori because she doesn't trust anybody's love interests anymore. Thanks. Thanks,
Mo-
Bowman.
Mortis will try to drag Centuria away, only to help train a little bit because I'm still getting used to being, well, a powerhouse and not a necromancer. So
I will agree if we are still in like viewing distance. Like I can still see Resonant.
sure.
Oh,
I
that's
don't trust
funny.
that
So
guy.
like Centuria and Morturia are up in the sky playing catch with boulders, keeping an eye on Resonant.
It just takes Centuria a second to miss the boulder as she looks down and splat. Oops.
Oop, now we only have 99 people to fight for our cause. Sorry, guys.
Ooh.
Wow.
Ah,
Okay.
okay.
Cool. Do you guys want to
Training.
talk about the training?
Yeah, what do you want to do, Morturia?
I figured, like I'm obviously, I don't know what I'm doing, despite what the dice say. So I figure, we'll be doing the whole like standard superhero montage kind of thing, like, no, you swing like this, and
Do you want
You
me to
push back
train
with your-
you like in shoot, what was that really graphic superhero show?
Which
Cartoon.
one?
Invincible.
Invincible. Like Invincible's dad trains Invincible.
not quite that bloody, but
Like I'll shove you in front of a train if you want me to. I'm joking. Well, like
Hmm.
I'll sort of make like an obstacle course up for him with like boulders and such and like a lot of things that he has to like swerve out of the way last minute to sort of help him with like agility and stuff.
Centuria's chucking rocks at him as he's making his way through the obstacle course.
Chuck's rock, looks over at Resonant, looks back, make sure he doesn't die.
Awesome. And a few of the resistance fighters are going to come out and watch what's going on because it's fascinating to them. And they're talking to each other in LaFondin in sort of hushed, accented tones.
Probably talking about how we're twins.
Do you think their mother died when they gave birth to both of them? They are so strong.
Oh my god.
And Resonant, you're sort of walking around. Ori is filling you in on what you've been missing out on over the last decade or so.
Yeah.
And he says, what was it like there, being stuck?
Had to make do. It was hard fitting in for a bit, and I made a couple of friends, and I lost one, and that kind of set me down a really, really weird road. I lost sight of a lot of things, and it'd been 10 years. No, it'd been about 8 years since I reconnected with my friends. I kind of stepped away from doing what I'm doing now.
Yeah, I can imagine you walking away from who you are.
Sometimes it takes a while to find out you are who you thought you were.
I never got that impression from you when we were in school. You always seemed to know where you were going and what you wanted.
You had a very different impression of me than I did of myself then.
I think that's probably true for most people. But it never looked like you had doubts on the outside.
Some people are very good at internalizing.
What about now? Do you have doubts about the path you've chosen? Or the path that's chosen you, more accurately?
No, I've got to do what I need to do. It's not just Lafandi that's counting on me at the moment. It's every world in the multiverse. Not just me, my friends too. If we don't put a stop to everything, nothing will exist any longer.
That's a lot to carry on yourself.
Thankfully, it's not just me that's carrying it.
Boulder explodes in the background.
I'm glad you made friends and found people like you who can save the universe.
Thanks.
Did you find anyone else in that other world? Anyone special?
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Um,
I was like, I'm a lesbian.
like, is there a what they call you, resonant? Is there a resonant man or a resonant woman? A Mr. Resonant?
Awkward.
No.
Cool. Cool.
Ori, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah. Swallows hard. I'm just glad you're safe and back home now.
Yeah. Once we save my mom and hopefully put a stop to my uncle, I'm gonna have to head back out though.
And he kind of looks a little crestfallen about that. He says, "Do you have to go like right away, or could I take you out before you leave, maybe, for dinner?"
I don't know. I don't really think there's gonna be time, and I don't know that everything's gonna be handled for something like that. Uh, Wait a second.
We can get something to go if you want.
Wait a second. I just recalled. You said you threw money at trying to break the dimensional barrier when I disappeared. What do you mean?
Yeah. So that was one of the social changes your uncle brought about before he became a maniacal dictator. We started using currency to keep track of exchanges, and I used the money I earned as an architect to hire scientists and gem mages and anybody who said they might be able to find a way to break the barrier between here and there. Not break, break's the wrong word. Bypass the barrier between here and there.
How many did you employ?
Over the course of the last 5 or 6 years, 200 people maybe.
Did any? I'm assuming some of them actually managed to get past, and that's why my uncle now has a whole bunch of interdimensional mercenaries at his disposal.
Yeah. Somebody found a way to get into what that dimension calls Subterra. And once that barrier was open, your uncle seized all of the research and took all of my team members. The ones who didn't agree to work for him were turned into soulless.
long has he been making Solus?
I don't know. He only started doing it publicly about a year ago.
You can't rule through power, rule through fear, I guess.
Yeah. But I was trying to bring you home.
She's just kind of at a loss for words. Like, she wants to say why. She's just like, I, Ori, it was 13 years ago. We were both kids. There wasn't anything you could do. I didn't even know what had happened to me.
There was a lot that was left unsaid when I transferred schools, and when I heard about what happened to you and how it affected your mother and how it probably affected your uncle, I thought maybe I could fix it.
I don't know that my uncle really minded all that much.
He was tough before, but after you left, I think that's when he started going down this path. Not because he missed you, but because he saw an opportunity to bring the Fondi into the wider universe, or make the changes he wanted to make that he always wanted to do but didn't have the power to.
That sounds more like him.
Yeah, he's not a gem mage. And I suspect he's always been jealous that he can't do that.
Yeah. How many gem mages do you have in the Resistance?
Well, here at camp we have 5 or 6. Depending on if you count me.
Well, you can use that, right? So yeah.
I think it's more like it uses me.
What do you mean?
It speaks to me every now and then. And what I'm able to do is because it allows me. I'm not channeling my will through it. It feels like it's channeling its will through me.
That doesn't sound right.
I don't know. Your mother thought it was strange too.
Yeah. Let's get back to the others. If you mind, when we get back, let me take a little bit of a deeper look at it with Berea and Brilliance.
Sure.
Just want to make sure that it's not up to no good.
Yeah, definitely.
So Resonant will kind of steer the conversation back and get us back to camp as quickly as possible now.
Awesome. So at this point, everybody reconvenes at camp, and I think that is a good time for us to take our quick little break. So we'll be back in just a few minutes, everybody. We're going to get up, stretch our legs, grab a drink, grab a snack, and we'll see you here in just a few minutes.